Hi everyone, Intuitive Coach Kevin here again. Today I am being guided to chat about this responsibility that so many of us take on for other people's feelings and then how to release it. It's part of this holiday series which seems to be manifesting for me in terms of the guidance that I'm getting to share with others, and probably because so many people are asking for it from our broader collective, people coming online, and of course holidays squeeze us together and then of course force up the old belief systems and habits and so forth and sort of amplify them. We enter the fishbowl, and so, which is a good thing from the bigger perspective because it allows us to see more clearly where we're stuck and things that are bothering us. So it's a wonderful thing when it happens. It just doesn't feel good in the moment. So the good news is that we can do something about it. Once we identify that something is going on, we can let go of it, figure out techniques to soothe ourselves and then get our power back and let go of this burden that we ourselves took on usually at an early age without knowing it. And certainly the people who sort of put it on us didn't know what they were doing, but it's not our responsibility for how other people feel, what they experience in life. It can't be. The law of attraction only works for the consciousness emitting the vibration, emitting the focus in the moment. But we're certainly programmed and all caught up together in all of this. And there's so many in the intuitive community in particular, people like us who have spent so much time being in that environment. We developed these intuitive abilities because we needed to anticipate how somebody else might respond to us. In my own life with my dad, he could be explosively angry and really nice, and sort of in the same sentence. And so you are always on eggshells. So you become really tuned to that frequency that might suddenly shift, and suddenly now you're going to be blasted with something that somehow it's your fault that he feels this way, or that this thing happened, or it's somebody else's fault. And so you scramble to kind of deal with it. And many of the clients, I'd say most, or even all of them at some level that I deal with in my own practice, intuitive coaching, they're dealing with the same thing at some level. It's so often the thing that prevents us from moving forward and stepping into our power and our passion and our purpose is that worrying, well, is it going to hurt somebody else? Am I going to look foolish? Am I going to be ridiculed or called out on something? And am I responsible for how other people are taking what I say or do when following my purpose and passion and in that empowerment? And so it's good to address this. And it's not hard to address it once you see and can identify when it's happening. The secret is to be able to identify it. It's like we always say, awareness is the first thing. When you're aware, you can make a choice. If you're not aware, then, well, you tend to stay stuck. So building the awareness of when it's happening is always the first step. So some of the things we can do here to help along with that, if you take a moment and maybe picture that person or a person that you feel somehow responsible for their experience in life. For me, it was parents, and to a lesser extent, my younger sister. And maybe it's your children. Maybe you've taken on responsibility for their experiences in life. Maybe you don't feel they're doing as well as they should be doing, and it's your fault, taking on that ownership. So picture that person and kind of sit in that energy for a moment and let the emotions kind of come up around that. What do you feel like you haven't done enough of, or you should be doing more of? And ask yourself what you might be afraid of that would happen if you stop taking responsibility for them. And that can be their feelings, it can be their experiences, what they're living in life. Some of the things that often come up with clients, and this is subconscious, remember, it's typically we're not even aware we're thinking this, so it's good to bring some of these up to the surface. Well, maybe you might feel like you'd be abandoned if you're not there to help your parent or your child feel loved or appreciated or supported. Maybe you feel like you wouldn't receive love and appreciation. And in my parental upbringing, oftentimes you had to do the thing that they needed so that they would be happy, so that they would then appreciate you. I didn't feel, we were never told we were loved directly. You could feel that our parents loved us, but it was always sort of at a distance. And in my dad's case, it was a barter, essentially. You did the thing you wanted, and then you get a little bit of appreciation or attention. but beyond that, it was never extended unconditionally. There was always a condition. So it's like, what is that condition? And of course, then what if I don't do the thing that they need to feel better, whatever it is? And then you might be criticized. Maybe you'll be attacked. Maybe you'll be ridiculed. Maybe you'll be put down. I had all that kind of stuff happen. I never had physical attacks, but the shame is, to me, a whole lot worse. Just that subtle tearing down of your self-esteem because you weren't good enough or you didn't do the right thing, because now they don't feel good. So what else? Think about it for a moment. What came up for you when you didn't do the thing that these people in your lives, like a parent or a child or a boss or a sibling or a friend, what that you didn't do or did do, that now you feel responsible for? Sit with the emotion of that. Notice where you feel it in the body. Usually it's in the heart space or in the gut. Maybe you feel that pit in your stomach, like, oh God, I just wasn't good enough. I didn't do the right thing. Now they're suffering and it's my fault. I got used to the pain in my stomach. That was life is every day there's going to be some sort of thing in my life that's going to cause that pit in my stomach, and you just learn to live with it. Take some pills or something to take care of it, but it's just a chronic kind of thing. Well, it comes from the belief system. Remember, thoughts create emotions, create attractions. And the body is the nearest thing that attracts based on where we're focused, the vibration that we're sending out. And so the body starts telling us, hey, the thoughts you're thinking about this aren't true. Your inner being saying, no, that's not right. That's why we have negative emotions. But we're so shut down from the feelings that we have, then we don't notice that we're having negative feelings. And we just keep pushing through, and then the body starts to tell us, it gets louder. It's like a loud emotion. And then we ignore that. We give it pills and surgeries and all sorts of things to make that discomfort go away that we ourselves are creating from where we're focusing. So it's important to let go of that. You can also ask, what value are you receiving from actually doing this? And it's kind of two ends of the same question. And it's, again, usually subconscious. Nobody does something that hurts themselves intentionally. So it's below the radar. And call it subconscious. It's actually below the emotional threshold. So we're not noticing that this doesn't feel good. So somehow, though, the subconscious wants us to feel good. So what are you getting back for doing the thing that you're doing for the other person? Maybe you get a little bit of love, like I was saying, for me, or appreciation. My dad would gush appreciation when I helped solve a computer problem or help him do this thing or that. But then I wouldn't hear from him again until there was another problem. You maybe just get acceptance. They'll accept you for who you are if you do the thing that makes them happy. Another one's safety. Maybe you feel safe if you do the thing that they need to be done. Even if it doesn't feel good to you, there's at some level, there's a comfort in the discomfort. You feel safe, or whatever it is. So as I said, in my own life, I've had this experience with my parents. My dad felt disempowered in his own life. As a result, when he couldn't take it anymore, he would just explode. If you look at the emotional scale, it's so obvious. And if you want a copy of this, again, the book Asking is Given from Jerry Nestor Hicks, or I'm happy to I think there's actually one posted on my Facebook profile in the pictures section, but I'm happy to send you a copy. So we want to be up at the top. Inner being is calling us to be up here at the top. But most of us, have moments where we're down here at the bottom in this area because of the thoughts we're thinking, which are disconnected. And so, but at some point you have to release the safety valve, and so you move up to here. And it's often spontaneous if you're not doing it deliberately, which we talked about in another video, how to do that deliberately. But at some point the safety valve goes off and says, I can't take this anymore, and your body just explodes into rage. Okay? And if you don't realize you're the one doing it, then you blame somebody else. And so then you move up here to blame. Okay, well, it's Kevin's fault that this thing didn't work out, and I'm just going to get angry at him and see if he can fix it. And then the person gives themselves temporary relief while you took on the burden. How convenient is that? So now you, all of a sudden, oh God, I'm carrying this, but Dad feels good. Well, okay, that's better than nothing. So I had to learn to soothe him in order to avoid these anger outbursts. And then you become hypersensitive. Like I said, we called it hypervigilance. Like, okay, when's it going to happen? When's it going to come next? And then, which is, in some senses, it's good. It's why a lot of us are intuitives. It's how I got my intuitive skills started, I believe. It's because I had to anticipate his energy. I could feel it coming. And that's not a comfortable feeling, but it's a safe feeling. So now I'm able to turn that so that I can tune in as I move my frequency up and live at the top of the emotional scale more often. Then I can tune into people at that frequency. And then it becomes a wonderful interaction because now you're communicating at the level of source. And some of the best interactions I have with people, when I play with my granddaughter, our 4-year-old Olivia, it's the same kind of thing. We're at that because our kids are naturally at that frequency. Then we have this amazing, intuitively fun, playful experience where words don't even have to be exchanged because you're communicating at that level. Much better to be at that level, but you have to tune in first to do that instead of tuning in at the people who are down here at the bottom. My mom, on the other hand, she was emotionally shut down, probably similar to my experience. She had that. And because my dad was so, he's sort of self-absorbed, maybe you might call it narcissistic at times, whatever the word is. So she looked to me for emotional support, which again, I didn't know any of this as a kid. You just wander through life and mom's not feeling good. Well, oh, geez, I got to do something to make her feel good. And then you do something, she does feel good. And then you say, oh, gee, I did that. I guess this is my burden to carry too. So now I got 2 burdens that I get to wander around with, and they're conflicting with each other sometimes. So then you're really screwed. Then you really feel powerless. And so I learned to support her and soothe her, and be the golden child. Do all the right things, get the good grades, and and so forth. But inside you're saying, "Oh, this doesn't feel right at all. I don't care about good grades. I want to do what I'm passionate about. My inner being's calling me in this direction," all subconsciously. And so you create that gap, and then you carry that gap around with you in this heavy burden of powerlessness. So it never works out when you take responsibility for somebody else's attractions in life. You are not the person who creates their reality. You can't. And vibrationally, physics don't allow it. The vibration you emanate is the vibration that is reflected to you. Not good or bad, not right or wrong. The universe is not judging us. It's just physics. Vibrational frequency creates vibrational frequencies around us to vibrate and be brought into our experience, to be noticed. It's just like we're changing the radio dial. Wherever we change it to is what we receive. If we change it to the jazz station, you get jazz. You change it to the rock station, you get rock. There's never any confusion with that. So you change your station to the empowered station and stay there long enough to build some momentum via law of attraction. You have to experience higher vibrational experiences. It's law. And so if you're not feeling good and having not good feeling experiences, then it is beholden to you to do something about it. Again, there's no judgment around it. It's just you don't need to hold your own head under the water anymore. It's time to give yourself a break. I liken it that we were emotionally hit over the head with a stick so often in our childhood. And even if that person leaves the planet, my mom died in 2004. My dad is still living somewhere. I don't talk to him anymore because I can't take his energy anymore. But you, as soon as they passed on, you grabbed the stick and now you're the one hitting yourself over the head with the same stick. They're not even there anymore, but you're still beating yourself up for something you learned in childhood. You can put the stick down now. You don't need to be holding that. You don't need to be punishing yourself for that because it was never yours to own in the first place. So an exercise that I sometimes share with clients and that I'll share with you here that you can do is building awareness. Remember, is the first thing, that I'm even doing this thing. So in the moment that you notice you're feeling some stress or anxiety or unworthiness or guilt that I haven't done something, this person had a bad experience, and it's my responsibility to fix it, or maybe I did something that's creating this bad experience by their definition. Stop what you're doing in that moment. Just stop everything. Stop your thoughts and breathe. Just take the moment and bring that breath into your heart space. And just feel the tension just dissolve, just to dissipate. Just get right here into the now moment. Hyper focus on just now, just the breathing inside. And if you have to get away from other people momentarily to do that, you can go out in your car, you can go into a room or whatever. Just take that moment. Breathe into your body. Breathe into your heart. Feel the energy expand through the whole body. softening, relaxing, and letting all the tension just drain out. This is something you can do every hour on the hour. I do recommend it as an experience to benefit your body. Well, as you let that dissipate, then remind yourself of these things. And you can write these down, play the video back. That the person that you're worrying about, their experience, they created that situation they're in, not you. The law of attraction was responding to them. They may have pointed it at you and you took it on, but they still created the trauma or whatever they're experiencing. Number 2, remind yourself that they create the emotions they're feeling, not you. Their emotions come from their thoughts, as your emotions come from your thoughts. The thought is like plucking a guitar string, and the emotion is like the sound that you hear from the guitar. You never hear the sound, you never feel an emotion unless the guitar string is plucked, unless you think a thought. Thought creates emotion, and the emotion tells you the frequency of the thought. Where is it on the scale? Low frequencies, high frequencies. You pluck a low string, you're going to get a low feeling. You pluck a high string, you're going to get a high feeling. And it's just your guidance system telling you the quality of your thoughts. Are my thoughts benefiting me? And if I think of more, will I reflect that back to me in a good feeling way? Or if I'm thinking negative thoughts, is the universe going to reflect back negative feeling things? It's just really that simple. So the third thing is just remember you have no control over what they attract into their experience. And number 4, remind yourself, tell yourself, convince yourself you're ready to let go of this heavy burden that you yourself took on unknowingly as a child for once and for all. Give it back to them. This is not my burden. I will love you and be compassionate for your challenge person, but I will not take on the burden of your creations and your reality. I will take on my burden and release it as I can. And the neat thing is the more you take on your own responsibility with love and compassion, no self-judgment, then the more you fill up your own cup, the more your energy field begins to flow through you. And the side benefit, and it should never be the primary benefit for this whole conversation's reason, is the side benefit is you actually become more beneficial to those who are still around you. Because you're now at a higher frequency, and those who are at a higher frequency on the emotional scale have the dominant energy, because energy goes up exponentially the higher your frequency is. The more you move towards love and joy and freedom and appreciation, the more power you are emanating, the brighter your light is, and those who are around you who are looking for an example will feel your light. And sometimes you'll get words that will soothe them in a way that you couldn't when you were disempowered. But it's not your responsibility. It just feels good for them to come through you. This is the essence, what I've discovered of intuitive coaching. It's what I love to do so much. And anyone who's a spiritual healer or really in any healing practice has discovered this, at least one that's effective, has discovered that it's about opening up, releasing your own burdens and letting the flow come through. And then from the overflow of the cup, pouring it out onto the others and letting the intuitive impulses that come through guide you through life. It's just a magical place to be, and I encourage you to at least give it a try and see if you can soften this burden that you've taken on. And in particular, when you get into the social situations around the holidays, remind yourself of these things and pre-pave the positive energy before you go into the experience with someone, at work or family situation or with friends or wherever it is. See yourself as being the owner of your response, your experiences, and no one else's, and come into the experience from this beautiful place of compassion and self-empowerment, and then notice how your change in frequency affects those around you. Notice who you now attract and who completely avoid you, who maybe would have been that thorn in your side. They won't even see your frequency. You, if you're not on the same frequency, they will just go right past you. They won't even see you because they're not on your radio station. They can't perceive you. And likewise, you won't be drawn to them either. So you have the power. Take this power on. And just remind yourself that it requires some effort to rewrite those old beliefs, but it doesn't take long for the law of attraction, 60 seconds, to then begin to kick in and start supporting us. And so it gets easier and easier with practice. So commit yourself to do this today. I know that you can do this, so make today the first day of the rest of your life of self-empowerment. So that's it for now. If you think that the video might be helpful, Maybe there's somebody out there you feel might benefit from these words, this guidance that's coming through me. Please feel free to share it. The more people that we can reach on this planet who are awakening and looking for support and guidance, the better. It helps all of us if we can just allow it to flow downstream. I have coaches and channels and spiritual healers that help me to get this focus. One of the reasons I'm doing these videos is because some of the guidance I've received recently has very strongly pushed me past some of these barriers, this feeling of concern and worry that I'm saying the wrong thing or might do the wrong thing. And there's such freedom in self-expression. It's time for you to step into self-expression, being yourself. So you can connect with me, of course, here on Facebook or wherever this video is being shown. Or you can connect with me on intuitivecoachkevin.com. And I'm always happy to chat about anything that's coming up for you guys. I'm always looking for ways to expand the message of our self-empowerment. And so I'm always open to your ideas. So feel free to reach out anytime. I'm here to support you. And in support of your magnificence, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.